Dr. Bernard Okoe-Boye about Homan so person will make some quick input. Doc, akwa about that saying.
Obi.
Dr. Bernard Okoe-Boye.
No,
we brutal. We brutal.
She say Ghana, Dominic Penna always chill.
Mijiri se bibi aboko.
Nyakuba dom ni nana ya jantwa ni mpaibo bibi aboko.
Edanyame ase. Na ene dialysis nkomo aye di. I think suggestions are started but Ebeya Kranka NHIS intake over na yemfanka scheme no yarea mutimi esha. Is it something I more consider?
Obi, first of all, my main chair of panelist, main chair for you now. The American say national insurance since a buyer taking care of about 95% of all diseases that our Ghana have. So 5% now insurance and cover no back with kidney or renal dialysis. I know say some cancers like breast cancer, they are on health insurance. But prostate cancer, for example, is not on health insurance. So it's one of the 5% that we don't pay for. Some mental conditions and other blood disorders like hemophilia and anemia is not covered by insurance. Now, Sebi, appointees, yewa by Wemua, yewa team health insurance, your board. The last time I share, a formula and a budget for parliament. Me suggesting one particular fund or line, the peripheral diseases fund. No, just as yewa MPs, Sebi, Sika yemo from insurance, or Modibois health, or consent, Sika webe bois departments are almost any health insurance.
Okay.
So that a better buama subsidy and our cost na conform. But when we appeared before the health committee, our senior brother, another candle here ranking. So it's a wonderful idea. But problem I want to say, it looks like anytime there is any challenge, health insurance wants to shoulder it. And that the ministry must also take charge and try and shoulder some of the things. So in their mind, there should be a policy from the top. But for now, the insurance money say you call duty, they say you the bills of benefits are cover. Now, Obi, what I would say is and you're questionable. Say Obi Yaria, Sebi, there was someone so Niska now it's not proper. And it is not also true that we as a country cannot come together and get this thing addressed. Sometimes strong partisan politics, and let me explain. When President Kufuor was president of this country, our the health insurance by levies in the name of health insurance because Emrani say Enco consolidated fund and sana ya transfer abahanin Ubeshenu any 100% of the levy and ebaha. If you want 70%, 80%.
Yeah.
So 20% now banu. Ube una buying their share no how far and they are solving other problem. President Mills buy obedi president. Mama buy Ubeshenu the wabo dia 190%. Obi to me 60% of the disbursement. And the yempa say Oji health insurance tax nego do 4 billion. Now I pay 2.5 yama 1.5 now they are grading road kakra Obi. Because now the law also says that all the money must be transferred after a period, I think 30 days. And the minister must come back to give accounts of the monies collected. This law has not been obeyed by any finance minister since the Fourth Republic. Now, I'm being honest. If we want to solve our problems, we have to be frank. So what happens is that based on finance minister no or do our health and I say nothing now what percentage ends up coming to us. I didn't call it discretionary.
Okay.
And so now we say about 50%. This year the estimated collections, I think, is about 4.8 billion. Allocation AMI initially was about 2.9 or 3 billion. The allocation was about 50% of the projected amount that will be collected. The rest of the money, MPs now approving disbursement to other places. Obi. Now, because we have a gap, it becomes very difficult to convince some people, say, we need to collect more, like Akando is saying.
Yes.
But guess what? If we are not frank and deal with the matter head on, my MP in body say, and Akando check Akamomba. But some more power, Obi, you will call me on the show and ask me, so Okoe-Boye, what is happening? Health insurance is not getting their money. Until we make the law rigid, such that a finance minister cannot touch even the dime of the amount collected. So G5 billion, the conversation becomes perennially partisan.
Yeah.
Obi, I'm sorry. Now, what we have to do as a nation is to be true to ourselves. Sir, close to 3 billion now, Yaji in the name of insurance. I am from Bahano. Ubeshenu, it is a gap government is trying to close. We have to find other places to close that gap. Now, for other places so that if the law is made rigid, for example, if Parliament compulsory law say any finance minister who does not disburse all, it will take only 1/5 of Parliament to remove him or her. Or in common way, it will come to an end. But as we speak, I'm speaking as a patriot, as a citizen. Even whether MPP or NDC, until you make the law rigid, just as it has happened from Kufuor to Mills to Mahama and now, you will not get all the money. Obi, we have to decide, how do we get all the money? Or we can say that, okay, nobody is able to be rigid with the law. Let's find another way to take care of all diseases outside health insurance. What can we do? For example, we can have a levy on only one item for Chemi, but there were some items at Sebi, the poor man will not go near it. There were items here at Sebi, Obi and Yamia Shirano, and at Sebi, winning sort of. For example, Obi, V Power, and you be an Sebi, ultimate V Power. But what I say?
Sure.
And you can Sebi car or Kitano, and you for Biane Kum. And Sebi over Chemi, be a dear, Abia, your ordinary man be an audition how far. But whiskey do a you can find only 2 items and put even 50 pesos on it and say that this is a sin tax or it's a tax which goes only into peripheral disease like chemotherapy and kidney disease, so that there will be nowhere Obi Awako Kolebu until even a dime. We can bring it to an end as a nation if we engage in frank conversation. But until we do that, this unconscionable sight of Obi Koha Aye charging his cano, it must come to an end. Emergencies should not take even 1 Ghana cedis. It has been done elsewhere. We can do it. But if Akando speaks like this, and someone speaks unlike me, tries to be partisan with MPP, in the next 20 years, you still face these problems. Obi, finally, recently, Mikatia will say, hospitals do a hop. Or what did this guy want to watch it? And who started to health insurance on best of best officers can it?
Yeah.
And the sunshine policy so that anyone who takes money from here, others will know. A pharmacist came to me and said, Doctor, since you started this policy, payments have improved by over 1,000% because they know we know what they get. Obi, 2 problems exist as we speak. Even if Okoe-Boye pays hospitals and they refuse to go and pay for the drugs they receive from the Greater Accra medical stores, guess what happens? The medical stores is unable to pay Kinafama, from Anova and the rest. And so Uber call hospital, drugs in Niho. APIA is not because we are not paying, but there is not a strict law that binds or punishes a hospital who fails to pay the regional medical stores when they receive their drugs, Obi. It's a chain. And in a meeting, I mentioned to some of the supervisors of Ghana Health Services in page 40, say, everybody must be up and doing. If you leave someone in Sola Anawa One man is scandal, the open or the year. Supervision is the key. When I was board chairman for Okoe-Boye, I did one monumental structural amendment. Until I went to Okoe-Boye, heads of departments did not report to the CEO. They were reporting to Dean of Medical School. And their department, Penna Oye, it took board leadership to make sure that the law which says board appoints was effected. And so now, I'm all of them report to him. Someone will say, you had a situation where Obiako pasted new fees are CEO said on
Yes.
So Apoma is my senior brother. He went to Presec, so I'm careful with him. But the point is that Okoe-Boye is a big place. But if you don't stamp the authority and let people know that you hold the big cane,
yeah, it's true.
So this country, every appointee, not only the minister, must wake up and make sure that, look, recently we had a seminar with all hospitals in Ghana. And then some of the medical soups say, Usha, Sika won for your services, no, and yet proper, and so, and Amika one say, Okoe-Boye, I have declared on our tariff list how much I pay for malaria. If you think it is not enough, and you need to charge 30 Ghana cedis more, be bold and honest. Put that charge on a list. Let the world know. So that when Obi calls me, I'll tell Obi, hospital way, Wakoka minister, say Okoe-Boye 250 cedis for malaria, and so into the 30 account. But that is not what happens. People who are manning government facilities decide to take some charges which have not gone to parliament. So I explained to some of the meds who said, I have been an MP before. Because you run facilities which are not your own or private, charges must go to fees and charges committee.
Of course.
That is where the people's rep will be convinced as to why they have to allow those money. And Joby, we can fix our problems. If me can say if I were health minister, but this business of money for how to fund renal and all that, we can do it. The discussion must only be honest. I was in Kenya. In Kenya, their health insurance fund is 95% funded by workers in the country. Taxes account for only 5%. It's the opposite in Ghana. In Kenya, when they pay OB's salary of, let's say, 5,000, 5% goes straight to the fund. And so the fund is robust. When they pay Okoe-Boye 15,000, 5% goes to the fund. So the fund is robust. So in Kenya, they even pay sometimes for kidney transplant. What happens in Ghana? Okoe-Boye pays 8 Ghana cedis a year for health insurance because I'm a SNIT contributor. And guess what? It is 2.5% of my SNIT. Now I charge you, maybe I have 500 and 80 health insurance. And you can get a fast SNIT after Binsa and Sanabedruha. We must engage in bold conversations and we can fix all these issues.
One last thing, and it's a Basse ministry, no, your friends, NHIS, NHIL contributions, no, na omutimi at the 100% and a 95% cry a bremoa. Then we can begin looking at say mobile add renal care no to more list of diseases na.
Obi sent to the Makase and Loyano. It's really sharp. If we get all of this money, if not all, if we get 80% of the levies collected in the name of health insurance, this country can pay for kidney, can pay for cardiothoracic surgeries, can pay even for radiotherapy. Let us have all the money come in. And then after the payment, we can have a frank conversation and say that after paying everything, we realize that we need just about 5% more of the amount. Which ways do we get that money? That is the way to go. Otherwise, a politician who wants power will tell you, don't take any money. Our processing fees, let the Amika say 8 Ghana cedis. We pay 8 Ghana cedis for SNIT contributors, and Obi, we pay 27 Ghana cedis for non-SNIT. And so Obi Oye said the shoemaker, on SNIT, you know, premium for healthcare for a year, from malaria to Sebi Nimbadi 24 Ghana cedis. And Obi, this is the charge or the fee we have been charging for the past 13 years. Do you know why? We have to say the only parliament say, hey, health na woko charge no. Who named the chroma eshi? Na ye dia to. So we charge the same fee for 13, 14 years. We have to decide what we want to do with our lives. It is sad that someone will cry and will struggle. Me, my cousin said me dialysis or suffer. So when I see hardship, I can't sleep. And that is why we had a board meeting at Health Insurance and we discussed quickly to bring a document out on how to pay for this. Shebi, just really speaking, health insurance, our mandate is not to show Shebi how to pay for other things.
Yes.
But all of us must come on the table and we can rescue our brothers and sisters. Shebi, me can't be say, who need die now, who shut down. Why not die for 48 hours? Nyami Buawa, on the third day you can find a place to sleep. You will not die. But if they rush you to the hospital and the state cannot save you, Obi, my mother died of a heart condition when I was in Germany about 12 years ago. If she were in Germany or any other country, she would have been still alive. So some of us, we have been victims of these chronic terminal conditions which are left to the patient to handle. It should not remain like that forever. We have to work together.
Fantastic. Doc, medase. Bibiani ebesen ba bedin komobio.
Thank you very much.
Medase. Dr. Bernard Okoe-Boye, CEO, National Health Insurance Authority, and I want to see